So this is Rowdy and his first few rides in the back field, which is a lot like the size of a large arena. I usually work with my horses back here when I want to focus on some more fine-tuning and more widening out the circle, getting him out of the round pen and into a bigger area. And this was an interesting ride because he showed a lot of different behaviors. And this one was like the buddy up that we did. I work on that all on its own, where I stick them in different situations where I'm mounting on all different kinds of strange places and getting on them, which you'll see in another video. But in this one, we didn't work on that so heavily today. That's sort of a progression throughout the rides. Today, he showed some emotions under saddle. You could see a lot of his language in swishing of his tail, pinning of his ears, so I'll be able to point that out here. He demonstrated a lot of barn sour today. You can see that right there. As soon as I asked for forward, he had been pinning his ears and wanting to go more towards the barn, towards the other horses. So I was showing him that it's not going to be comfortable to go that direction. So there's two parts to being barn and buddy sour. So when he's emotional and stressed under saddle, I was showing him that it was getting going to be more difficult going close and then more easy going away. So you'll see that he went and suddenly showed me again, this was on his own, that he wanted to go towards the barn. So I showed him again that it's more uncomfortable to be over there where the horses are, constantly changing directions and redirecting that energy. And it didn't take him longer than 2-3 minutes to figure this out, that this was not the solution to evading the pressure. Pretty quickly, he was able to find out that walking away was a lot more comfortable. So after constant change of direction here, putting a lot of pressure on him and making it just difficult to be in that spot with the other horses, I waited for him to tell me, okay, I'm ready to find another way. And he shared that by simply showing his ears in another direction. As soon as I did that, I turned him out towards the field again. You'll see it on the way coming back here. As soon as I turned him out towards the field again, I let him just walk. Now just stay with this. I'll let you know when he gets to that point. I wanted you to be able to see this all the way through and see the progression of his behavior throughout this video, so that I did not leave any parts out. So I'll point it out when he gets to it. So I keep pushing him, but I stay within the threshold of the pressure. I don't go overboard with asking too much, because I'm simply trying to make it bearable, not overwhelming. Just putting some pressure on him to show him that's uncomfortable to be over here. And then you'll start to see a change in behavior. Watch his ears, watch his ears. He's looking for another way to go. Right there. So my constant change of direction, we're getting warmer and warmer, and then I make it easier and easier to walk away. He's simply looking for relief away from all this pressure and emotion that he's feeling. Some horses are more spirited than others. Some are more emotional than others. Some are more impulsive than others. He would be one that's considered more impulsive. So for a guy like him, I made it feel really good to be over here. Now, I mentioned that Barn and Buddy Sour has two parts. This is the first part, is establishing this point here, that it is not okay, it is not comfortable to evade the pressure and go towards where he thinks might be relief. The barn isn't where relief is. The barn is where they're the food is, but the relief is with me, the companionship with me. So that's the first part. The second part to that is a progression that gets built over time of helping the horse become more connected to you, helping the horse become more socially comfortable, even if they don't have their buddy nearby, and being okay in the workspace that you're in. Some horses get more stressed when they are away from the other horses, but they're also stressed depending on how large the area is that they're working in. And that is where I can help him, because he'll still continue to work on this throughout the ride. You'll see it gets better and better. I begin to let him just turn loose. I'm trying to show him that he can just walk, trot, and canter on a loose rein. I would like to progress to shaping him up, but I do not shape them up right away. I pick up contact after they can control their own speed in all gaits on a loose rein. Because if you pick up rein now and try to control it with two hands, you're indirectly teaching them to go. It's not what we want. We want to show him that he has responsibility to carry his own speed. So I had to change my camera around. It got stuck. I had to cut out that part. So this was simply just him picking up the trot, and you'll see right here that he switches his tail, is a little more uncomfortable again. So my constant change of directions with low hands and short reins. The circles can be overdone, but I did as many as I had to help disengage those hindquarters in a way that encouraged him to want to slow down. And he again learned pretty quickly that it was much easier to go straight. And when as soon as he was able to relax, I let him do that. And I made it feel good to stay in a straight line. So you'll notice throughout the ride that my reins get longer and longer. And the reason for that is because, again, we want the horse to be able to carry themselves and gauge their own speed on their own in all three gaits, walk, trot, canter. And that is something that I teach all of my horses that I start under saddle when they are out of the round pen and start in a larger field. I always have them on a loose rein so they are not dependent on me for showing them speed. They are able to comfortably carry themselves and kind of have some accountability in their movement. So right here, I just break it up a little bit by adding a couple cavalettis. I do this more in depth later, but we're just trying to keep things simple for now. And right about here is where you'll see him pin his ears and swish his tail. Something else he gets bothered by is leg pressure. There's lots of reasons for that. This one, I'm just lumping it along with his confidence and impulsive issues. So we'll be working on that and adding leg and slowly start to introduce some bend in his body. But this I'll be doing slowly. This is not new to him, but this is just emotionally where he's at. So I'm staying where he's at emotionally and building on it. And from here, we asked for the canter, but he picked up the wrong lead despite what my leg asked him. But I did not micromanage him. Not every moment has to be a training moment. Letting him have some accountability there, and went with it and made it feel good to at least have a canter departure that was a relaxed forward movement. So we went with it and made it feel good and was able to slow him down at a comfortable walk after that, and then we tried again. So again, this is where I slowly started asking for a little bend in his body at the walk, just showing him not to be bothered by my leg, that it's information at a bend, not always having to increase speed. And right here is where I asked to pick up the trot, but he pins his ears again, so I change it up a little bit by adding my rope to kind of swipe the sides a little and show him again not to be afraid of my leg, but just to turn loose. And this is where I asked for a try again on the canter departure, and he did a lovely job. And that's when I just let him go on a loose rein and just made it feel comfortable to be able to go in a straight line. And while he was comfortable, I was able to take advantage of the opportunity and do a few transition changes back and forth between the trot and the canter a few times, just again to show him that my leg is nothing to be afraid of, simply just information, and he was able to transition to the trot and to the canter without any emotion behind it. Really, what a difference that he made. So I made it feel real comfortable the rest of this ride and kept it pretty low key and quit right there. The rest of the ride, we just wanted to focus on relaxing at a walk, maybe adding a little bit of bending here and there just to do something different other than speed and show him through exposure. Again, my leg information instead of all the time going faster in different gaits. And even though it's kind of boring the rest of this video, see through this because you'll be able to see the difference in his ears and his tail and his whole behavior. Completely different from the beginning of the ride. Rather boring, actually. But you'll notice here that as I add my leg and ask him to bend in some circles, he's not pinning his ears. In fact, he's able to comfortably bend in those circles a little more comfortably each time I ask. Okay, so just a bit of a recap while you are watching the rest of this. What we went over was quite a few behavior differences throughout this ride. We dealt with Barn and Buddy Sour, him having a constant change in speed where he didn't want to slow down, so I had to do a constant change of direction in order to have him gain control of his own emotions and be able to be responsible carrying himself on a loose rein in all three gaits. And then we worked on transition changes, just exposure to my leg and constant change in transitions of speed so that he doesn't have to be bothered by turning loose, that it feels good to turn loose and that he can find relaxation in it. And then as we progressed at the walk, anytime I can progress at the walk on a loose, relaxed rein, I do like to add some bending exposure so that they're not always getting speed, they're always also starting to gain muscle in bending their rib cage and bending their body, starting to work on that hind end to strengthen up so that I eventually can shape them up and start to build that top line. Thank you, and for anyone else watching this video, please like and subscribe. I hope you find this information helpful.